believe we do.
Okay. And we need to approve, well, all the minutes from last year, it's just one meeting.
If it's a motion, then I second it.
Okay. Is there any question or discussion about the minutes? All in favor, say by aye.
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 Opposed? No, so ordered. Next one is to nominate an elected chairman for a one-year term.
Mr. Chairman, I wish to propose you to be the chairman for the next term.
All right, thank you.
I second.
Okay. You should take over and handle the election. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? All those in favor of the nomination indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. So ordered. We need a vice chairman for a one-year term.
I think Mr. Thomas McCormick should stay.
All right. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Nominations are closed. All those in favor of Mr. McCormick for a one-year term as vice chairman indicate by saying aye.
We need a second to that motion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can I second it?
I second that motion.
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Marvin,
Now you can take your vote, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. New business discussion of the stormwater program. We haven't had much going on, so I guess we need to hear from the staff as to what their
Well,
ideas are.
One of the biggest things that we've got coming hopefully in the next few weeks, months, whenever the state decides to get their permit released, is our new MS4 permit is coming out shortly. The old one expired in 2008, so we've been operating under that permit still for the last 2.5 years. Basically, it is going to have the same minimum measures. We are going to have to meet the same requirements, which are public education and outreach, public participation and involvement, illicit discharge and detection, construction site runoff program, post-construction runoff, and pollution prevention and good housekeeping. Some of the changes will come in how we have to meet those measures. It will require some updates to our ordinance, so I would like to let the members know that there will be probably some extra meetings this year than just our normal one when we finally figure out what the new permit actually says. It will require us to do a complete review of all of our city ordinances and policies on how they affect water quality. I believe it's the EPA water scorecard or something that we've got to actually go through. It also has a push towards green development, more infiltrating of stormwater versus actually detaining of stormwater. So that'll be some pretty big changes for our development community, I think. And it'll probably be a learning curve to see how those changes come into effect. We had our community cleanup day on Halloween last year. It was a wet and muddy, miserable day, but I think everybody had a pretty good time. We worked with the Parks and Rec department. We had about 40 people show up, and normally we always clean along Hurricane Creek from about the roundabout down to Hurricane Creek boat ramp. We have continued with our Project Wet contract. Our second year of that contract was just signed, and I got it to Bruce just today, so things are moving along with that. We had a teacher training about a month ago that I was able to attend. We had about 3 teachers from Rutherford County. I don't believe any of them were actually from Laverne, but I think one was from Cedar Grove Elementary, so that does serve our area. So they were learning about how to teach stormwater to kids. So hopefully they will take it home and tell their parents, and then we'll have good water quality throughout the city. And hopefully more teachers will decide to be trained and pass that bug along. But this also meets our MS4 requirement for the public education and outreach. And we're still working with the county, Murfreesboro, and the city of Smyrna. And as you all are well aware, we had our flood this May. These are just a couple of pictures. Our department worked very long hours trying to get some of this, all the debris cleaned up, trying to get people back to where they used to be. There's still a lot of work to do around the city to get some of these drainage issues resolved, and we are still working on them. I would like to say, just as with some of the rains we've had just yesterday and also with the flood, please do not put any brush or debris in drainage ditches because it will wash down and it does clog pipes, and we had some issues with that just yesterday. So
What happens when the debris runs off of somebody else's property onto my property?
I mean, really, at that point, there's not a whole lot we can do, but just ask that people don't put that debris there to begin with.
So it's brush and trees that's been blowed over, you know.
Right.
And, just runs off on mine and my son's property all the time. Sometimes we have a lot of water.
It's a problem. But I'm more
Very much so.
talking about deliberate people, or deliberate acts of when people decide to just, they've got a ditch behind their house and we're gonna throw all the limbs and brush in that, instead of taking it out to the road for the chipper service or hauling it off themselves. And you may be aware that the stormwater department has moved to the old post office. We moved in on February 12th. I will also say that during the May floods, we did not have any water in our building, which might be a little bit of a shock to some of you. We took out the row of trees between our building and, is it the New Apple?
New apple.
And dug that out some, and we were actually able to keep the water from coming into our building.
Okay.
And I have a small sampling of some of the projects that we've worked on this year. This is on Greenwood Drive. On one side of the road, there really was not a ditch. Water was coming across the road and causing some erosion onto people's property. So we went through and added a ditch on that side of the road and also reworked the ditch on the other side a little bit. This is on Lake Forrest Drive. This ditch had pretty much been completely filled in. So we dug it back out, strawed and matted, so that way that water could actually get off the road and to where it was supposed to go, which I believe is into Stinking Creek. This was one of our projects that we worked on right after the flood on General Manny. This culvert and ditch line had pretty much been somewhat filled in, so we were hoping to get water off of the road and away back to that creek quickly as possible without causing little erosion. That's why we have so much rock. And this was one of our biggest projects that we worked on South Waldron Road. This was between Blair Road and Lake Road. And as you can see in that top picture, there is a huge void that you could probably fit a small Volkswagen in that was actually under the road. What we did is, so we wouldn't have to completely dig up Waldron Road, we slip lined these culverts, and we had a product that you could actually get together, and like we had 6-foot sections, snap them together piece by piece as we pushed them through, and then pumped the interior full of concrete to fill all of the voids. So those huge voids that you noticed on the pictures before are now filled with concrete, and the road should be stable. And that's all I have.
Comments? How about those waivers that we approved? Were they,
The waiver for the city property, that was put in place, yes.
any other questions?
And we are continuously working. We have several projects
Yes.
that we are looking at now, just since the flood. They are working diligently, so I'd like to ask the people in the city to please be patient with us. We still have a tremendous amount of ditches and creeks and stuff that we're looking to clean out just since the floods. We do have a 3-man crew. 4-man crew. And to my understanding, they're working diligently. We just got a project done on Fergus Road, where we're actually cleaning out some ditches. It's very time consuming, having to deal
I
with.
don't know if that project's actually complete yet.
But we're still, we're on that.
Yeah.
We're on that. So if the citizens would just please be patient, let us know, get them on a list, we're making sure they are on the list.
Yes.
But just please be patient, because like I said, these crews are working diligently since the flood, hoping that we can get some of these issues resolved as quickly as possible.
Any other questions, comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When it comes to Lake Forest itself, how did the flood affect it with the residents?
There actually weren't too many problems in Lake Forest. I think along Stinking Creek there might have been 1 or 2 houses
I think there's a couple of houses along that creek.
that had
And
some
it-
damage.
And then one, I think, at close to, I believe it's Jimmy Cove, that water, I think, got in the house or under the structure there. And I think that wasn't really because of a creek, it's because of a ditch line, I think, that had a lot of debris in it. So, for the most part, that area did okay. There, like I say, along Stinking Creek, there is a few homes that are pretty low that the city knows about and is aware of now. So we're looking at different options on that.
What about the sinkhole that is out there zoning? I call it the right of way. This Carmen was the last name, I think.
Yes, that did open up in
It
the
opened up
drainage
again.
ditch behind her house.
Yeah.
Yes, that has been corrected,
Again.
hopefully. I talked to Miss Carmen yesterday, and she only stated problems with dirt washing away, not any more sinking. So hopefully that is resolved.
I know we've discovered a small sinkhole on my son's property, which was not there before.
There has been some of that popping up around town, definitely after those floods, yes.
But that's all I have to say.
Any other questions, comments? That'll end the discussion on the stormwater program. The only item left on the agenda is a motion to adjourn.
Are you making a motion, Tom?
Yeah.
Then I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor, indicate by saying aye.
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 So ordered. Thank you very much for coming.